Welcome to Real Lessons on Real Estate. My special guest today is Terry McCue of Remax West. Terry McCue is actually one of the first ever graduates of the Real Estate Rockstar Academy. Welcome, Terry.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So, Terry, I want to ask you some questions today about your career. Tell me about your successes because you have had some fantastic success for 5 years in the industry.
Yes, I had a great start. In my first year, I won Rookie of the Year, which was amazing to me, especially during the market we were in. We were in a COVID market. And the second year, I came 17th out of 250 agents,
Beautiful.
which got me a Centurion Award, which we had to make a minimum of $250,000. So I was quite pleased.
Awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, tell me, is this job actually what you thought it would be? Or I should rephrase that and say, is this career what you thought it would be?
No. I don't know what I really thought about real estate. You know, everyone just thinks you put a sign on the lawn and that's it. But I learned the worth ethic you have to be really successful. The daily, consistent duties you should be doing daily, and success will come, and I'm proof of that.
That's awesome. Very awesome. So, tell me when you first started out, when you first started in the industry 5 years ago, what do you see that's so different today versus 5 years ago? What's changed?
Well, for me, 5 years ago, I just started in the real estate industry. Sorry, it's knowledge. You got to have the knowledge. You got to have the know how to do things. There's a way of doing it. There's a I lost my track there. So there's a way of doing things the proper way to get results.
Okay. I understand that you have a really amazing track record of getting clients from open houses. Tell me a little bit about what makes you so different, because I do know from my own experience that many agents, they don't want to go out and do open houses. They're saying, oh my goodness, what a waste of 2 hours of my time. I got to put signs. Now it's 4 hours. They sit there. I walk into other agents' open houses. They're texting. They're ignoring the people that are walking around the home. Yet when I speak to you, I see that you have a really big, what I would consider a very big conversion rate of open house attendees into actual clients. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing that's different from other agents to help other agents do the same as you.
Well, I think the first thing you have to do is be welcoming when someone comes in. And you're right, you can't be just a person sitting there, here's a sheet, go walk around. I think you have to give them their space for one thing. You got to let them experience the house. And then when they finish walking around, be there with the questions that need to be answered and offer your assistance and get their thoughts on the house. And I think I've been lucky enough, I'm doing something right, that people feel comfortable with me to sit and talk to me. And that way, if I always say to them, if this house isn't for you, I can help you find something else. And I come prepared, and I got taught the right way, prepared with all the listings that are in the neighborhood. So if someone does not like that house I'm doing an open house in, I have sheets there ready to go to say, hey, listen, there's another 2-story around the corner. Would you like to see it? And I've had a lot of success with getting clients that way.
Beautiful. That's exceptional, because it's one of the things that I feel a lot of agents fail at. I feel that they aren't being overly knowledgeable when you go in the door, because they seem to feel that it's just a waste of their time. And in my world, when I'm training people at the Real Estate Rockstar Academy, I try to teach them that every open house is a $25,000 opportunity.
Absolutely.
And I think if your mindset goes there as opposed to, I just have to do this and pass the time, you have a whole different aura about who you are when you're in there.
Well, I learned at the academy, the open house just isn't a 2-hour gig. It's an all-day thing. You have to be prepared yourself all morning.
So
And
when you say prepare yourself, sorry to interrupt you. I
yeah,
just want to stop you a little bit there. Tell me what that preparation looks like for you. What is it you're doing to prepare for that open house?
so first thing in the morning, anywhere between 5 and 6 a.m., I'm out putting signs out.
Wow.
So that way, your face, your name, the neighborhood knows what's going on and where it is. They follow the signs and prior to, because they want to know. In the morning, after that's done, I'm on the MLS system looking for new houses enlisted in the area. See what's sold, see what hasn't, and I get that information ready to go for the open house. So when I get the open house, always about a half an hour prior to, I get the house ready, get my papers ready, get all my information ready. I get on the internet through my phone, so I can show them live pictures as opposed to just give them a sheet of something else.
Good. Very good. Do you use any particular tools when you're at the open house to entice the attendees to stay longer with you, to chat with you longer?
Yeah, we do gifts. We always do gifts for every open house. Sometimes it's cookies, sometimes it's little hand sanitizers or coffee, so we can chat about the house after to keep them there a bit longer. And it seems to work.
And when you leave that open house, there's another question that agents ask me all the time. I just want to hear exactly what you're doing. When are you following up with those people that attended the open house, or even are you following up?
That evening, usually after dinner, after 7 o'clock, I'll follow up with the people. You know, there's some people come in and don't want to be bothered. They say they have a real estate agent. I leave them alone.
Of course.
But people I've been, that seem interested, but we're on the fence, I'll give them a call that evening after 7 on the Sunday night or this Saturday night.
And if you don't get any response at that time, what's your next follow-up with them?
I will email that same night. If they don't answer the phone, I'll send an email that night as well.
Okay. And we still don't have any response, and it's Monday. What's happening then?
I'll try and never call Monday evening.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. I have a lot of agents and a lot of other coaches that are out there say that 10 is really the magic number of interaction with that person before you may actually get them out or get any response
10,
from them at all.
okay.
It's a pretty big number.
Yeah.
But a lot of agents, again, one call and they're just throwing that information away and moving on when it could still potentially be somebody for you to work with.
Yeah. I keep everything so we do an electronic sign-in in all our open houses, and I keep their information forever. So for example, if we've had it listed and we had to drop the price due to market conditions, I will go back on all those emails and I'll shoot an email out to them saying, thanks for attending our open house 2 weeks ago. We have dropped the price. If you're still interested,
Very
give me
good.
a call.
Yeah, very, very good.
So
Okay,
just a little bit of follow-up. And if they don't answer, I made them think.
of course.
So,
Yeah.
it could, down the road, it could be another client.
100%. Well, you've had great success, and I want to say congratulations. That's a really big hurdle in the real estate industry to overcome and be so successful at in such a short time in your career. So my next question for you today would be, what would you tell an agent who just got their license this morning? Give me some Terry McCue wow factor information that they're not going to know that you can tell them.
Be prepared to work hard. You're not going to get a client by sitting there waiting for the phone to ring. It's a very, you have to be consistent at what you do every day. You have to be at work every day. It's a job and a career. It's not a part-time job. If you want to be successful, you have to be available. You have to be consistent and be prepared to work long hours.
Okay. So would you tell yourself 5 years ago that maybe I shouldn't have done this? It's a lot more difficult than I think, or do you find it rewarding for you?
Oh, it's rewarding. It's very rewarding. When I started 5 years ago, I was. Everyone thinks they know real estate because they go to open houses and they look at realtor.ca, but there's a lot more involved. And that's what I learned in the 5 years. I learned. I'm still learning.
We all are, I think.
I think so too. With the market conditions, and like I said, I came in during COVID, and like the big joke around the office is when I started, COVID hit. That was my real estate start. So, but and then going to a market right after, which was exciting because everything was flying off the shelf back then in 21. And so I just, the knowledge I've learned just from year to year to year is just,
So what would you say about today's market? Because today's market is a lot different than 2021, that's for sure.
this is a market you have to work even extra hard to get, you got to go back to your sphere of influence. You have to pass clients, a lot of follow-up and relationships you've made over the my 5 years, and continue to talk to them, because those are the people who are going to get you business in a market like this.
Absolutely. A lot of agents also don't understand the referral process in this industry. I mean, I always use the expression that a referral or a person from my sphere of influence, it's free money.
Yeah.
I'm not paying an advertisement to get that person. I'm not out there beating and knocking on doors. It's just my phone rang, and I consider that to be free money.
Exactly. And you got to rely on that, but you have to work at that too. You got to keep in touch with all your clients, so that like we do, through Thanksgiving gifts, Christmas gifts, and stuff.
So what does that look like for you? When you're saying Thanksgiving gift or a Christmas gift, what does that entail for you? What are you doing to your sphere of influence with that?
So going back to the sphere of influence and past clients, we'll on special occasions like Mother's Day, Father's Day, we'll pick one and we'll do deliveries of gifts to them. A little something with a card inside, just saying Happy Thanksgiving, from Team Lorraine Mondello.
And how many people are you going to?
The most we did, I think, at a time was maybe between 30 and 50.
In a day?
In a day, yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a lot of driving, but
it's worth
worth
of people.
it.
No wonder you change your car every year. Too many kilometers.
Too many kilometers is right, but it's what you got to do. It just lengthens your business and your success of your business.
Well, that's what it's about at the end of the day. So another question I have for you. What would you tell your 20-year-old self that you know today that you would never have imagined back then?
Don't be scared. Trust yourself that you can do things that you thought you couldn't do back then. And the reason I say that is I go back 30 years, I thought about getting into real estate, and I talked to a guy I used to play hockey with that was into it. You may know him, Daryl Ruff. And I just couldn't do it. I was too scared to do it. And I think the time I did it 5 years ago was the right time, and the person I went to gave me the right information and told me the truth of what I had to do it.
Okay. Well, working hard is, it's a good ethic, and fear is one of the biggest debilitators that there is in real estate, because we're all afraid of the fear of rejection if we're knocking on a door. I mean, I remember as a new agent myself 35 years ago, I always tell this story about somebody that called me after I delivered a flyer to list their home, and I couldn't do it because I just couldn't get them to sign a contract. I thought it was the largest amount of money that I was ever going to receive at one time, and I thought I just froze. I left their home. I literally left, and they're like, "Please take my listing."
Yeah.
And I didn't. And I learned pretty quickly, because 2 days later I drove by figuring I was getting over the fear, and I'm going to go there and I'm going to get the listing. And another agent's sign was on the lawn. So I learned pretty quickly then I should have overcome that fear when I was in your home. But fear is a factor in real estate. Even many years ago, we used to have a thing on Wednesday night at the office, and we would call pizza, and we would all phone canvas. Now I'm going back to the days where there was actually a phone book.
Yeah.
So we would cold call. It would be pizza night, and we would all stay there till 10 o'clock at night, and we would be cold calling. And as I'm cold calling as a new agent, I'm just praying that you're not answering the phone, because I don't know what I'm going to do when you say hello.
Yeah.
And we all do this, whether we're at your door. We don't know what to do when the door actually opens and we're a new agent. We do it on the phone. And I also see, especially now, so many years for me into the industry, that agents need to learn to ask for business. You're not asking in an aggressive salesperson manner. You're just saying, if you know anybody thinking a buyer or seller, give my name out to those people. I've been in open houses with other agents, helping them in open houses, and I'm thinking to myself, I think that person wants to buy this home. And I'm seeing that the other agent is not going down that path.
Right.
And I've just walked over, literally, into the middle of the conversation and said, would you like to do an offer on this house? Yes, we would. Fear is a factor there.
Yeah.
We're all afraid of rejection. We're all afraid of what are we going to do when they say no. But the real thing is that I want people to understand today, and I'm actually writing a new pillar for my academy on this, and you're the first person today that's going to hear about it.
Cool.
And it's about relationships. How in the industry we used to be really taught that it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. The more people you meet, the more deals you'll do, the more. Well, really, in seeing what I've seen transpire in the last 5 years, it's a relationship game.
I agree.
We're here to build relationships with people that can enhance our career. When you look at somebody from a numbers perspective, you don't look at them the same way as you do from a relationship perspective.
Right.
When you nurture that relationship, and I'm going to use what you just said to me as your example, I'm bringing a Thanksgiving or a Mother's Day gift to that person. You're nurturing a relationship. And our end game is that we are always at the forefront of every person's mind that's thinking about buying or selling. Same as we use the word branding. They think of nobody but I'm going to call Terry McCue because my son now wants to buy a home or my daughter needs to buy a home. And I've learned, especially, I don't know why in the last 5 years, that it's not a numbers game at all. I think if you're still looking at real estate as a numbers game, you are fighting a losing battle. You have to realize that we are in a relationship building
I agree.
game. Once you build that relationship and people love you and trust you, you'll get business for the rest of your life. And one transaction today should literally give you anywhere between 4 and 7 transactions in your career. So I'm considering that to be a relationship. I'm going to be in touch with you, for the next 10 years of my career. And I think if we all adopted that theory, we would be not only treating our clients better, because you're not just a number,
Right.
we would be enhancing our future business with that person. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Because when we see that happen now, I just think of a few that we've had, clients that of them would say that we've got 2 or 3 deals off from different family members. And you're exactly right. It's all a relationship, the son, the daughter. Now probably the grandchildren were going to come up soon. So I agree.
And how you're treating them, how you're, so many agents just make this mistake of doing the transaction, closing the deal, never to be heard from again. And I'm going to tell you, I was very guilty of it 35 years ago in my career. I'm going to tell you, I did it all the time. I could have somebody walk up to me today and tell me, you sold me a house 30 years ago. I'm going to tell you, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
It took me a very long time to realize, and I mean a really long time in my career, to realize I should never have done that. I should have been in touch with those people all the time, and I did not do that. Today, we're a little bit more sophisticated. We have our CRMs, that generate this information for us, but I'm still really old school, and I'm about the one-on-one. Those people trust me.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
they want to like and do business with me forever.
You're right. And there's certain clients that you have that, are okay with a text. And there's some clients that want to hear your voice.
Of course.
So you have to really be on top of your clientele.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I still tell people that I'm training, use a handwritten note. You don't know how to reach that person? it's a handwritten note.
Yeah.
When you deliver a gift to their home, it's a handwritten note. Even if it's only 10 words, it's more personalized.
Yeah, it is.
And again, it's building on that relationship
Yeah, I agree.
to ensure your future business. We call it filling the pipeline. We want to fill the pipeline with future business so that we're not scrambling on where are we going to get our business from.
See, I agree on that so easy because that's the way I was taught. I didn't know any other way. So that just speaks.
I wasn't ever taught. This
Yeah.
was all a find this out by yourself game for me.
Yeah, well, it was easy for me. I got told.
And it's a really, really difficult thing.
Yeah.
For newer agents, I feel awful for them. I mean, there needs to be stricter training guidelines, more help for agents. I mean, this is a very expensive career to
Absolutely.
take off. I've watched agents over the years spend their life savings and still not get to the goal that they want to get to. So I've decided, with my Real Estate Rockstar Academy team, that there is a needed pillar for relationship building on how do I make that relationship flourish to my 7 or 10 transactions as opposed to just one.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited. That's going to come out in the near
I'm looking
future.
forward to seeing that.
Yeah, and it's going to be great. So back to Terry. I want to know again, just tell me something else, Terry. Tell me something else that you believe that you do differently from other agents. What would that be?
Well, the open house one is one thing, but I was taught that way. I'm available. I'm all the time, but everybody can say that. I'm trying to think of a.
Tell me, okay, I'll make it easier on you.
Yeah.
Tell me a story, a real estate story of how far have you ever gone to sell somebody a home? Tell me that.
That's easy. So it was about 4-hour drive, 3.5-hour drive. I got asked to go up to show a place. It was in Lion's Head.
Yeah, that's about a 4-hour drive
Yeah.
for sure.
So I went out and I was meeting this lady and her brother there. I got there. I opened the place up. She walked in. She goes, "I'll take it."
That's a pretty good drive.
So, and it was a 3.5-hour drive back. By the time I got back with our team, the offer was ready and ready to go and sent to her and signed, and it was all done that afternoon, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Pretty good drive.
It was a very nice drive.
No question about that one. Well, good. Again, I deal with agents from time to time where, I'm trying to help them. Here's a lead, go here. And they're like, that's an hour away. I'm not going there.
See, I don't understand with this industry and the money you can make. I look at it this way. If someone calls you to show you a house in Wasaga and it's an hour and a half away, and it's a chance at making $25,000 on a deal, why wouldn't you?
Well, I think the only time that you shouldn't is if truly you don't know where you are and you can't be doing what's right for the client. But if you're familiar with any area, I mean, you took an Ontario license.
That's right.
You didn't take a Kleinberg or Brampton license. You took an Ontario license. But in defense to that, I will say that you've got to be up to date on what's happening there. Otherwise, you might not be doing that client a service.
Yes, but you can also be doing that as you work too, is looking at different areas around.
And you should be.
Right, to educate yourself in the areas. Like we all know like going back 5 years ago that Wasaga was a very popular area. So you should have, like Stainer, Barrie, people were moving up north. You should have done your homework. And
How many times a day, Terry, do you search the MLS?
at least 3.
And how many different sections come up on your computer? How many different hot sheets? I should rephrase that. How many different hot sheets?
5.
5. What are they for you?
So Calden, I have Calden, so Brampton, Mississauga, Orangeville, and I always have one if I have a really hot active client. So for example, I had people want to look in Listowel, I have Listowel on there. So I'll always save one for client, one or two. If I have two hot clients that really want to buy soon, I'll make sure I have that area covered.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you use the drip system, or how do you get those listings to your client?
I email them. I do it myself.
You're hand picking.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if they give me what they're looking for, I'll send them exactly what, in their parameters, what they're looking for. I have used a drip system before. Not saying it's a bad thing. I just like to be, I find I can find it quicker. And if I'm on there, if I'm on there at 8 o'clock at night and something new comes out at 6, the drip might pick it up in the middle of the night, but I won't get it till the morning. That's why I check so many times a day.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing too, because in a very busy competitive market, listing can slip through your fingers
Absolutely.
by doing it that way. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, it comes to the drip after midnight.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I could get that.
And the thing about the new things with, now that we switched over to Realm, I have Realm on my phone. So I can check my hot sheets as I'm just sitting there on my phone at home, as opposed to opening up the computer, which is good too. So I like that.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Making your job easier.
Yeah.
So what's the future plans for Terry McCue? What do you see yourself accomplishing or doing or not doing in the next 5 years?
Oh, I don't know. Well, obviously continue the real estate. I'd like to be number one in the office one day. She laughs.
Well, that's a great goal. That caught me off guard. That's a great goal. Good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I just to continue to be successful and better myself and make myself a better agent over the next 5 years.
That's good. That's a great goal. What about personally? What's your personal goals in the next 5 years? What do you see yourself doing?
Working. I like to work.
Well, that's a good thing too.
Just some traveling. Hopefully getting, helping my daughter achieve her goals and, her and her husband a house and just little goals
I can
like
sell
that.
them one.
Yeah, so can I. You got a better listing package than I got.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Those are all great goals. Okay, so before we wrap up today, just one more question for you. Tell me the greatest piece of advice anybody ever gave you in your life. Doesn't have to be real estate related. It could be any piece of advice that you think somebody gave you that was the best thing they ever told you.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on this one.
Take your time. It's not a rushed question. That sticks out. Something that you would say was a game. It can be real estate related. It doesn't have to be. Change the direction of your life, that really stands in the forefront of who Terry McCue is as a person today.
I'm not sure who told me. Probably the advice that helped me personally was try and get over your insecurities, because it stops you from being you. And
Good advice.
Yeah. I can't even remember who told me that. That's how long
good
ago
advice.
it was. Because, like I said, going back to when, 20 years ago, 30 years ago when I met Daryl, and my insecurities stopped me from that. Stopped me from going forward to try something back then. And, maybe it wasn't the right time, and that's fine. But I think I learned to help push my insecurities down. And I think what I've learned in the last 5 years has really helped me with that.
Well, it's always the fear of the unknown, right?
Right.
And I always say, again, when I'm training, I love to write that on my whiteboard. I'm a lover of writing on the whiteboard, and I spell, out the word fear. And to me, it's just false evidence appearing real.
Right.
We can make our mind believe anything, whether it's good or bad.
True.
And sadly, we are trained to more quickly go to the bad. What if, as opposed to, well, what if it went the other way?
Right.
I sit back some days and I look at my own life and I think, If somebody had told me in 2025 you're going to be sitting in a room doing a podcast that we're going to post on YouTube, I would have thought they'd lost their mind.
Right.
If I look back at myself 10 or 15 years ago and somebody said to me, you're going to be the number 28 agent in all of Canada out of 156,000 agents, I would have said to you that would be absolutely impossible.
That's pretty amazing.
And today I look at my life and I think I can do more than this.
You can.
So it's a completely changed attitude for me.
Yeah.
And it is overcoming insecurity for sure.
Yeah.
It's overcoming fear. For me, when I'm training agents, the biggest thing I see in their eyes is fear. And I see more people concentrating on what if it doesn't happen than what if it does.
I agree.
Well, in your career, Terry, I think that you are absolutely living proof that any success can happen to you in a very short period of time. I am going to correct you on something when you told me that you were number 17 by office and you were a Centurion Award winner and that you had to earn $250,000 to be that. The actual fact is you had to earn $330,000 to be that, which is a huge amount of money.
Was it?
Yes, it's $330,000 to be a Centurion Award winner. I want to congratulate you not only, Terry, on your successes in real estate, which are very many, but I watch you as well at work. You're always very willing to help other agents, a quality that is missing in so many people. Everybody in this industry lives with this fear of, you're going to take my business, you're going to learn my secrets. There is enough money in this industry for every single person working in it. It's just a matter of learning how to make your living and how to do it correctly. So I do applaud you for that because, you know, I'm a longtime veteran in the industry, and back in my day, nobody would have taken the time to help you do any of the things that I see you. You know, whether I see you hanging a picture in somebody's office or showing them how to do an open house, it is really a kudos to you because it's just returning what's come to you, which is really, really good. Paying it forward, as they call it.
I was just thinking that.
And I just love that about people when they're helping other people succeed, because it tells me that you don't have the fear of somebody getting your knowledge. So you have overcome a lot of fears, because a lot of agents struggle with that.
You know what? That's a kudos to who taught me, because I watched you do it all the time. When I first started, other agents calling you, other agents coming to the office and asking for help, and you're the first one to do it. So how could I not do that watching you in your success? It's only going to help me in my success.
Well, I've trained a lot of agents in my years, and not all of them help other people. So I'm saying it's a great accolade for you. It's a really big feather in your cap, because we never know what someone's real struggle is.
Yeah.
And if we can just help them, whether it's 15 minutes or 45 minutes, we probably have made a very big difference in their day.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that that's just a huge thing.
I agree. I totally agree. I learned from the best.
So in wrapping up, I'm going to say thank you, Terry McCue. Congratulations again on your amazing 5-year career. Keep going. And I'm going to let you know when you're number one in the office.
Okay. Thank you.